is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Jones, I represent Fort Drum, which is home of the 10th Mountain Division, which you know is the most deployed division in the U.S. Army since 9/11 to Afghanistan. Currently, the division headquarters and members of the 1st Brigade Combat Team are operating in Afghanistan, with the 2nd Brigade Combat Team on schedule to deploy to the region throughout this fall. I want to wish our 10th Mountain soldiers a very happy Thanksgiving. I know this is not the first Thanksgiving for many of them who are away from their friends and family at home. Given your experience advising military commanders, how can we balance the reduction of forces in Afghanistan with the necessary force protection measures to ensure that our remaining troops that are in country are protected and able to safely conduct their daily operations and missions? I want to ensure that we're keeping force protection to the absolute highest level.
Force protection is obviously essential, so as are logistics, and there are other components of that. So I think the question when we talk about numbers is, as you're implying, I think, it's not just the number of counterterrorism forces that are striking targets or arresting or even training Afghan terrorists or training Afghan commandos to target terrorist organizations like Al-Qaeda, but it's also the force protection at bases that's necessary. That may be military police and others to secure bases. On any of the bases that I've ever served on, we've also hired local Afghans to provide basic protection, and in some cases contractors as well. So that does need to be added to the mix of the force posture we're talking about.
And then in your written statement, you mentioned a troop drawdown's impact on our ability to conduct the train, advise, and assist mission and conduct CT missions and operations and collect intelligence. What overall does this mean for the resurgence and strengthening of terror groups in Afghanistan, particularly in reference to potential difficulties we may have when it comes to conducting CT? Does this put us in a similar situation that we faced in Iraq in 2011 to 2014, in which we will be back in Afghanistan down the road to combat stronger, more organized terrorist groups that threaten us?
Well, I don't think it entirely puts us back to 2011 where we pulled all forces out, but we are now taking a risk by going down to 2,500. What it means, I think, is that that force posture may be enough to conduct strikes against terrorists, but we're going to have to move a range of our train, advise, and assist trainers from the Kandak level, from the Afghan Air Force, up to the Ministry of Defense and Ministry of Interior level. So what we lose is the ability to train Afghans at the operational and tactical level, actually where the fight is happening. So that means it's a risk to the state of the war, and I think that's where we're at right now, and that's where we're going to accept some risk.
Thank you. Yield back.
Thank you. Mr. Guy.